Welcome to my foray into the Reddit arena. I have edited some for clarity. The first Reddit starts at, "Am I wrong for not feeling bad about giving GF similar treatment?" The first story is from user broad Cranberry 9250 and it goes, "My GF and I have been dating for about 3 years and have been friends for 2 years. Our relationship has been great, but one thing that I have noticed, at least in the last year since we moved in together, is how she speaks about me, especially around people. For the most part, she is very loving and caring and goes all out for me, but sometimes it seems like she takes opportunities to throw jabs at me or even act like some of my statements or questions are dumb and gives me snarky remarks. Even how I do things, she acts like it's weird. I've communicated how I've noticed many of this, and she says she will do better, but it usually continues around people. As an example, I'm not the cleanest person, but I try to go out for my cleaning. My eating is not disgusting because I struggle with crumbs off the plate. She would go off telling people how much of a messy person I am, even in times where it didn't warrant. One time I privately asked her to stop doing that because it felt like every time we were out, she would mention it like 2-3 times when we were out on random things. We could be talking about sports, and she'd say, "Ooh, that white jersey is so dirty. It's a reason why I don't buy white for OP, because he is such a messy person." One time I snapped at her, as I had enough, and after that she stopped doing it as much. But there are other things that I've tried communicating, and she will slowly bring it down, but again, in front of people, will do it. Just as recently, she spent some time cutting me off mid-sentence when we were with friends. When her relative visited, she started saying how disgusting it was that I like strawberry milk, and even told friends how she thinks my way of cooking rice is weird. I don't use a lid to let water evaporate. Even after I explain these things, she says she understands but goes back to talking shit around people. Her favorite phrase as of late has been, "You know this is how I am. You signed up for this. You must love me." To which I say, "No, I don't. I don't need to accept that." I have tried communicating, but lately I just had enough, and I slowly started to give her similar treatment, mostly the snarky remarks, TBH, I didn't even notice, and she did mention it a few times. Today we were headed out and she asked a question, and I guess she didn't like my response to it and screamed at me and locked herself in the room. TBH, I know I should apologize, and I don't want to be snarky like that, but part of me also feels like I've had to put up with it for some time. And even if it is true, I have put up with it for over a year, and it took her 2 days to blow up with similar treatment. Am I wrong about not feeling bad about this? Here are some of the responses, remarkable. Ad3665 replied with, "I get why you're doing it," and her response was less graceful than you deserved. "You should leave her though, because she was not sorry and has told you she won't stop." OP responded to this with, "Thanks, and again I hardly noticed I was doing it. I get what annoys me is almost hypocrisy. I can understand if she just doesn't notice and I don't mention it, but times where I have it, it's almost disregarded and things like, well, the difference is you can take it and I can is just not good enough of an excuse. I grew up in an immigrant family where talking shit was our love language, but if you give it, you should expect to get it back. So for me, it's almost hypocrisy that is annoying, so I can't give her what she gives me. It's also a combination of that and the intent. I feel like there is a difference between making fun of your spouse, baldness, for example, or insulting how they do things or why. Another Redditor named VTHome2003 posted, "Yup. Went through the same crap with my ex-husband. God, how I wish I hadn't been so blind. And my F and F didn't say anything. I mean, I get it all, but I wish someone had opened my eyes." Nap. Enthusiast stated, "I bet all your mutual friends think she's an asshole and don't understand why you are with her." That's what I would think if my friend was constantly talking shit about their partner to me. Maybe if you tell her she's making herself look like a dick, she'll stop. But even then, dude, you've told her many times this bothers you and she doesn't care. She doesn't respect you. Do with that information what you will. Second story is from Friendly Tap 01 who asks, am I wrong for bringing my friend's kids to her after babysitting date goes too long? This past weekend, my friend Claudia asked me if I wouldn't mind babysitting for her kids, ages 5 and 7, while she went out to lunch with her cousin Teresa. Claudia is a single mother and works 2 jobs, so as someone who also had a single mother, I agreed and went to her house around 10 a.m. She got ready and left around 12:30 when her cousin Teresa picked her up and said she was going to go to lunch and that she should be back around 3 or 4. The kids and I played games, watched TV, and I even ordered a pizza for us. It is now around 4 p.m. and no sign of Claudia. I texted her to see when she's coming home and no answer. I call and again no answer. I decided to give her more time. Now it's 4:30 and no response. I call and text 2 more times and get no answer. Now it's around 5 p.m. and I have started to blow up her phone. Now it goes straight to voicemail since she has since put her phone on Do Not Disturb. I decided to give up for now and spend the evening with the kids. 7 p.m. now and no sign of Claudia. I'm getting mad at this point. I blow up and call and text her over 10 times and still get no response. I'm starting to get worried about her now, so I decide to reach out to Claudia's sister Diana, who I also know. I try to reason that if Claudia is anywhere, she S at Diana Ent's place, so I explain what S going on and ask for Teresa S address. Diana gives me Teresa's address, so I pack up the kids and drive to the address. I reach the address and knock on the door, and Teresa opens. Inside, I find Claudia sitting on the couch. What happened? I asked, as the kids ran inside to hug their mum. What do you mean? Claudia answers. Oh, I'm sorry, I must have lost track of time. I'm pretty upset and try not to start cussing her out in front of her cousin. After about 30 minutes, Claudia finally agreed to go home, and I drove us all back to her place to drop them off. You said you were only going to lunch, so why didn't you answer all my calls when you didn't come home after 4 p.m., I ask. Look, I had a long week at work, and I just wanted to unwind with some wine with my cousin and just disconnect with the world. Was that so bad? Claudia reasons. Dear, it is when you lie to a friend who is babysitting for you and are late by several hours and are not answering your phone. I got desperate and called your sister Diana for your cousin's address because I took a gamble that you'd be here, I explain. But that's creepy as hell. Who the hell goes around and finds someone's address and comes over uninvited like you did? And why did you get my sister involved? Claudia asks. Claudia and I argue on the way home. She argues that although she knows she was a bit unreasonable today, she feels that me getting desperate and calling her sister was a creepy and stalker move and has opened the door open now for her family to ask more questions about her ability to be a single mother. Things she said I could have prevented if I was just a bit more patient with her. Am I wrong about finding out where her cousins live and taking the kids to her while she was out? I don't feel like I am wrong, but am not sure, since I know we all have times where we just need to get away from everything. Worried Turnip 6458 states, not wrong, she was inconsiderate. If she needed a day, she should have asked for a day, and not stalkery of you either, to try and find her when she is non-responsive and you have her kids. Foolish pleasure, 99 added. And too bad for Claudia, she'll never get OP to babysit for her again, ever. Nobody disconnects so much they turn off their phone when 6 hours past the end of her return time. Another poster, Amy Without My Towel, exclaimed, NTA, I would have been calling hospitals around if someone was 3 hours late getting their kids. The fact that she is minimizing this is infuriating. It would probably end my friendship after this.